Every 4 minutes, a woman in India is diagnosed with breast cancer. 1 in 28 women develop breast cancer in their lifetime. Breast cancer is the most common cancer found in women in 157 countries out of 185 in 2022. These numbers can be alarming, but the real question is, are we actively talking about this? Brut brings you an insightful conversation today.
Every woman has a lumpy, bumpy breast, and that's normal.
See, women, the way they are brought up, okay, they tend to...
Cancer in the breast, like any other cancer, is...
The thanks a dot is, and hug of life is nothing but...
So what would you say is a critical piece of information that every woman should know about breast cancer?
So I think the most critical point to make is...
Through this conversation, we aim to foster open discussions about this topic and hope that this conversation becomes an everyday conversation this International Women's Day. So join in and stay tuned. Doctor, what is breast cancer and the symptoms and causes around it?
Unfortunately, cancer in the breast, like any other cancer, is a lump which is not in control by the body anymore. It's growing out of control, and it's eventually going to start feeding off the body. So you need to be able to pick it up early, because early detection is what's going to help us with breast cancer. Signs and symptoms of breast cancer, fortunately, because it's a surface organ, are very simple. You'll feel a painless lump, and I need to stress on the word painless, because most women ignore lumps because they are not painful. So if you feel a lump in your breast or your axilla that is painless, you have discharge from the nipple, you see any changes in the skin of the breast, whether it's thickening, redness, being pulled in, these are all signs and symptoms of potentially having cancer.
So what would you say is a critical piece of information that every woman should know about breast cancer?
So I think the most critical point to make is examine yourself, understand what your breast feels like. Only then will you pick up the abnormal and be able to come in early and get detected early.
It won't happen to me. What would you say to women when they feel that?
Our entire lifestyle, our exercise, everything is becoming very sedentary, so our risk is increasing. Cancer, unfortunately, and that to cancer of the breast, can happen at any age. It can happen to anyone. It can happen to men and women. Of course, it's more common among the elderly. Of course, it's more common among women. But it could happen to anybody. So please stay aware.
What made you think about this brilliant initiative, Thanks a Dot, and also Hug of Life, which essentially revolves around self-examination and early detection?
The thanks a dot is, and hug of life is nothing but using tactile memory device which has been created. Here it is a hot water bag, and if you want to bring any change, it is mainly if you become a part of their daily life. So the research clearly mentioned that almost every woman in India, they all use hot water bag.
Yes.
And they use it once in a month. Just after your period, if you self-examine yourself, is the most ideal time. So the idea was to remind them during the period time, okay, that you need to do a self-examination. So this was the whole thought behind everything about the initiative.
With regards to women, what is the primary goal that you aim to achieve?
See, women, the way they are brought up, okay, they tend to ignore about themselves, about their health and wellness, and focus on the family, focus on the loved ones and those responsibilities. That is where we as a brand felt, because our purpose is mainly to talk or bring, that liberation to everyone in the society, get them liberated so that they can live and fulfill their dreams for each other and for self.
What are the ways that women can self-examine?
You have to be able to understand what your breast feels like. Every woman has a lumpy, bumpy breast, and that's normal. So what you need to do is, if you still get your periods, on the 10th day of your period, which is when most of your hormone fluctuations have settled out, you need to examine your entire breast. Imagine your breast as a clock. You're either going in circles, or you've divided your breast by 2 perpendicular lines, and you have 4 quadrants and a center. You always palpate the entire breast, understand what it feels like. If you pick up anything new, go and see your doctor. Do not be alarmed. Everything is not going to be cancer, but you need to get an idea of what is normal or not for yourself. Always check for nipple discharge. Always complete the examination by checking your armpit and your neck. And the most important thing is always look at yourself in the mirror to see what your skin looks like. Raise your hands above your head to see whether any area of the skin, including on the undersurface of the breast, looks different. Month on month, this allows you to understand what your breast feels like or looks like and come in if you pick up something abnormal.
There are a lot of myths revolving around breast cancer, the causes and the symptoms as well. Can you please decode some of the myths that surrounds these issues?
So some of the most common myths that we hear from girls is the color of the bra, the type of the bra, whether an underwire bra causes cancer, whether black bras cause cancer, whether sunscreens cause cancer, whether deodorants cause cancer. And none of these are true. A bra helps support your breast, reduces pain, and gives you comfort. None of the bras, unless they are abrasive in some way, are going to cause any concern.
One message to our audiences in normalizing and making this an everyday living room conversations, either with their mothers, sisters, or their female surrounding friends.
One, we need to stop sexualizing the organ. We need to talk about it as part of our body, and we need to talk about it as you would about any other aspect. If you hurt your hand, if you hurt your breast, if you had anything, it should all sound the same, and you should be able to speak to your family about it. Good health, exercise, and early detection is what's going to save us from this disease taking over rather than us having control over it.
देखो बीमारी ना बीमारी है. Why to feel or have that taboo? बात करो ना. If you are feeling something, talk to them. You will get that strength. You will get the encouragement. You will be able to fight together much better. Sit in the living room, have coffee, chai, okay,
and talk
about it.
On that note, the good news is breast cancer is treatable and often curable at early stages. So the most important things to do is regular screenings, self-checkups, and most importantly, talk about it. To know more about this and order your free self-examination kit today, visit the spilife.co.in/thanks and order your free kit today.